I wrote the book for two main reasons. First, in 2010, Jeffrey Gans, Mary Crossan, Carol Stevenson and myself wrote a book, Leadership and Trial, a manifesto for leadership development. This book was inspired by the financial crisis and the role that leadership played before and during the actual crisis. I think the book is full of learning, critical insights. Among them is that competencies count, character matters, and commitment to the role of leadership is important to individual and organizational success. So we end the book with a call to action, and we have a number of things to say for the next generation of business leaders. It's really interesting to think about how they would develop their competencies, character and commitment. And I think the book, Good Leaders Learn, helps deliver on some of those insights through conversations with experienced and good leaders. The second reason for writing this book is rooted in visits here at Ivey by leaders. I think we're very privileged. We have very capable, competent leaders visiting the school. And to a man or a woman, they always explain that they learn to become, over time, a better leader. But they often leave that fairly undefined. And so I'm very intrigued in finding out what were those formative or transformative experiences that helped individuals to become a leader and that helped leaders to become a better leader. I interviewed 30+ senior leaders. I think most of us would recognize some of those names. I had the privilege of spending some time with Michael McCain, George Cope, former Prime Minister Paul Martin, Daniel Eckerson, the CEO of General Motors, Cassie Campbell, Barb Stymiest, Eileen Mercier. I picked these leaders because they met one of four criteria. First of all, I think good leadership is purpose-driven leadership. Good leadership is also effective leadership in the sense that we deliver on the goals that we have set to achieve. Good leadership is ethical leadership. And I also believe that good leadership must feel good, both for the leader as well as for his or her followers. The bulk of the book consists of the interviews. It's very much a question and answer format. And the final 3 chapters bring it all together. So the first concluding chapter is around my general insights. What did I take away from these interviews? What were some striking observations? And I'll give you one example. It was very interesting because most of these leaders talked about this one person who showed a keen interest in his or her development, who saw a spark of confidence, something unique in that particular person. He or she demonstrated confidence, and that really allowed the person, the leader, to step up and, consider the role of leadership. I found it quite remarkable. It always started with one person. The second chapter really attempts to address that question. How do good leaders learn to lead? So here I identified 10 pathways or 10 routes through good leadership. And one of them would be this notion of stretching. So we have to step out of our comfort zone. If we never fail as a leader, right, we never really develop, we never get a better insight into our competencies, the character, as well as our commitment to the role of leadership. And the final chapter is really about some of the wisdom that those leaders shared with me. So I've identified 15 themes. One of them is the importance of teams and leading teams. George Cope had something very interesting to say. He said that no individual is ever bigger than the team. Great organizations are always built on great teams. And he mentioned the example of Wayne Gretzky. George Cope is very much interested in sports and analogies. Wayne Gretzky is arguably the best hockey player, right, ever. After he left the Edmonton Oilers, Wayne Gretzky never again won the Stanley Cup. The Oilers, of course, continue to be a successful team and won a Stanley Cup, even if in the absence of the best hockey player, Wayne Gretzky.